it's me Anna, nice to meet you and welcome to my channel. This is my second biography video and today I want to talk about the legendary Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Her voice changed music forever and she earned 18 Grammy Awards. Whoa! And she inspired millions of artists. So, let's begin. Aretha Franklin was born on March 25th in 1942 in Memphis, Tennessee. Her father, Clarence Franklin, was a famous Baptist minister known for his powerful preaching, while her mother, Barbara Franklin, was a talented pianist and singer, and music and faith surrounded Aretha from the very beginning. When she was just 2 years old, her family moved to Buffalo, New York, and a few years later they settled in Detroit, where her father became the pastor of New Bethel Baptist Church. Detroit would become the city where Aretha grew up and discovered her extraordinary musical talent. After her mother passed away when Aretha was still a child, family, friends, and members of the gospel community helped care for the children. During those years, Aretha taught herself to play the piano by ear, an incredible gift that would shape her future career. Because of her father's reputation, their home was often visited by some of the biggest names in gospel and American music. Young Aretha had the chance to meet legendary performers and influential figures, giving her a front row seat to an amazing musical world long before she became a star herself. After losing her mother, Aretha found comfort in music. She began singing solo in her father's church and quickly impressed everyone with her powerful voice. At just 14 years old, Aretha recorded her first gospel songs. Her early recordings showcased not only her remarkable voice, but also her ability to accompany herself on the piano. Even as a teenager, it was clear that she had an extraordinary gift. As she traveled around the country, Aretha met some of the biggest names in American music. Legendary artists like Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, and Marvin Gaye became major influence on her style. Music producer Quincy Jones even recalled that singer Dinah Washington had predicted Aretha would become the next great star. As a teenager, she also toured with Dr. Martin Luther King, becoming part of one of the most important moments in American history. Years later, in 1968, Aretha honored his memory by performing at his funeral, a powerful reminder of the deep respect they shared. When Aretha turned 18, she decided it was time to reach a wider audience. Inspired by Sam Cooke, she moved to New York to pursue a career in popular music. With her father's support, she signed her first major recording contract with Columbia Records in 1960. Her early recordings showcased her incredible versatility. She could sing jazz, blues, rhythm and blues, and classic pop standards with equal confidence. Critics immediately recognized her talent, and she was soon being called one of the most promising new vocalists in America. During a performance in Chicago in the middle of 1960s, a radio host gave Aretha a title that would stay with her forever. In front of the audience, he crowned her the Queen of Soul. What began as a symbolic moment soon became one of the most famous nicknames in music history. Although Aretha released many strong songs during her years with Columbia Records, the label never fully captured the powerful gospel spirit that made her voice so unique. Looking back, even people at the company admitted they hadn't realized just how extraordinary her true sound could be. Her biggest breakthrough was still ahead. In 1966, Aretha left Columbia Records and signed with Atlantic Records, a decision that changed her life forever. Producer Jerry Wexler believed her greatest strength was the powerful gospel style she had grown up with, and he encouraged her to bring that emotion into popular music. It turned out to be exactly what the world had been waiting for. In 1967, everything changed. Aretha recorded I Never Loved a Man, The Way I Love You, followed by Respect. Her unforgettable version of Respect became an international sensation, reached the top of the charts, and turned her into one of the biggest stars in America. To this day, it's considered one of the greatest songs in music history. Hit after hit followed. Songs like Think, Chain of Fools, A Natural Woman, and I Say a Little Prayer became timeless classics. By the late 1960s, Aretha Franklin wasn't just successful, she had become the undisputed Queen of Soul. She won her first Grammy Award and performed for an audience around the world. The success continued into the early 1970s. Her albums sold millions of copies and concert halls were filled wherever she performed. In 1972, she returned to her gospel roots with the live album Amazing Grace. The record became one of the best-selling gospel albums of all time and reminded everyone where her incredible voice had begun. By the middle of 1970s, however, the music industry was changing. Although Aretha continued recording and touring, her new releases no longer matched the enormous success of her earlier hits. Even so, her influence on American music was already beyond question, and her greatest songs had secured her place among the most important artists of all time. In 1980, Aretha began a new chapter by singing with Arista Records. Under the guidance of legendary producer Clive Davis, her career experienced an incredible comeback. She also appeared in the hit comedy film The Blues Brothers, introducing herself to a whole new generation of fans. During the 1980s, Aretha once again filled the charts with hit songs. She successfully adapted to the changing music scene without losing the power and emotion that made her voice so special. Collaborations with artists like George Michael, Eurythmics, and Luther Vandross introduced her music to millions of younger listeners around the world. One of her biggest comeback moments came in 1987, when her duet with George Michael, I Knew You Were Waiting For Me, became an international #1 hit. It was her first song in nearly 20 years to reach the top of the American pop charts and proved that Aretha Franklin was as relevant as ever. Although the music industry continued to change during the 1990s, Aretha remained a beloved and respected artist. She kept recording new music, appeared in films and television, and continued performing at major events across the United States. One of the most unforgettable moments of her later career happened at the 1998 Grammy Awards, when opera legend Luciano Pavarotti became ill just before the ceremony. Aretha stepped in at the last minute and performed the famous aria Nessun Dorma. Her breathtaking performance amazed millions of viewers and is still considered one of the greatest live moments in Grammy history. Even after her chart-topping years were behind her, Aretha remained an American icon. She continued to perform at historic events, inspire new generations of artists, and remind the world why she would always be known as the Queen of Soul. Even in the 2000s, Aretha Franklin continued to perform on some of the world's biggest stages. In 2009, millions of people watched her sing at the inauguration of President Barack Obama, a performance that once again reminded America of the power of her voice. She continued recording new music and breaking records. In 2013, she became the first woman in history to place 100 songs on Billboard's R&B chart, another remarkable milestone in an already extraordinary career. One of her most unforgettable later performances came in 2015 at the Kennedy Center Honors. Singing You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman in tribute to songwriter Carole King, Aretha brought the audience to its feet. Even President Barack Obama was visibly moved by the performance, making it one of the most iconic moments of the evening. Although health problems eventually forced her to reduce the number of concerts, Aretha continued performing for as long as she could. Her final public appearance came in 2017, closing a remarkable career that had inspired audiences for more than 6 decades. By this point, Aretha Franklin was no longer just a legendary singer. She had become a symbol of American music itself, a voice that influenced generations and earned the admiration of audiences around the world. Away from the spotlight, Aretha valued family above all else. Although her career took her across the country from Detroit to New York and later Los Angeles, she eventually returned to Michigan to be closer to her loved ones. Throughout her life, her faith also remained an important source of strength and inspiration. Aretha was the proud mother of 4 sons. Despite the demands of an extraordinary career, she always tried to stay closely connected with her family, who remained an important part of her life. She was married twice during her lifetime and was known for keeping much of her private life out of the public eye. Rather than discussing personal matters, Aretha preferred to let her music speak for itself. Music was truly a family tradition. Several of her siblings were talented musicians, and some even performed alongside her for many years. Their support helped shape the sound that millions of fans came to love. In August 2018, Aretha Franklin passed away peacefully at her home in Detroit. She was 76 years old and was surrounded by her family and loved ones. The cause of her death was a rare form of pancreatic cancer. News of her passing touched millions of people around the world. Musicians, world leaders, and fans paid tribute to the woman whose voice had shaped generations of American music. Former President Barack Obama said that Aretha had helped define the American experience. Thousands of fans came to Detroit to say goodbye, and her funeral became a national tribute to one of the greatest singers of all time. The ceremony celebrated not only her extraordinary career, but also the lasting impact she had on music culture, and countless artists who followed in her footsteps. The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I said I will pray for you. Welcome in my hand now, and wondering what dress to